Long Live Your Turtle here. In today's video, we're talking basics, water changes, but with a catch. We're going to be dealing with none of this. It's going to be way easier than that, save a ton of time, hassle, and mess. You just need a little bit of this and a little bit more of this. Let's get to it. All right, let's talk about the water change hack you never knew of. You've probably heard of this before, but let's go over how I do it for my 210-gallon tank on the left there for my 2 sliders, and then my 75-gallon aquarium on the right there for my other slider. This is a lot of water to be moving with just buckets, so there's a much better way to do this. So how are we moving this water? Well, first of all, this is the most important part. It's a submersible pump. It's a utility pump. You can use this for a lot of things, including draining water from a basement that's flooded, draining water from a pool, draining water from somewhere water shouldn't be, or moving water to somewhere like a tank to somewhere else, the outdoors. So this thing is a beast. It was actually relatively cheap. It was like 60 or 70 bucks when I got it. I'll leave a link to this product or similar ones like it. The only things you really need to know are, is this pump powerful enough to move water from your tank to wherever you're bringing it? And does it have an adapter for the connection on your hose? Now I make those sound like difficult questions. They're not. Most utility pumps hook up to hoses. That's kind of why they're utility, because they're pretty universal for everything. You need a more powerful pump to pump water to a higher elevation. So I know this 1/4 horsepower can go over 10 feet easily. And for most tanks, this pump is absolutely going to be enough. You could probably go quite a bit smaller, spend a little less money if you really want to figure out exactly what your situation is. Only other thing you're going to need, and I mentioned it briefly, is a standard hose. This is just a standard garden hose, medium duty, I think. I tried to get pretty cheap here. But I got a 100-foot hose because I have to go from one end of my house through the basement, through the garage, and then I want to get a little bit farther outside the driveway. So I got the longest hose I could so that I didn't have to splice hoses together, because those always leak. Then I'd have to deal with a potential leak inside the basement or in the garage. I don't want to deal with that. It'll spray me in the face or something annoying that hoses always manage to do. Enough talking, let's set this up. I'm doing 50% water changes today on both tanks. That's about 130 gallons of water. A lot of water to move. You'll see how easy this really is. Let's heave this 100-footer outside. Let's make sure there's no kinks. Okay, pump is ready. Turtles gave approval. Get out of here, dirty water. All right, PSA, if you're doing a big water change like 50% I am today, be sure to unplug your heaters because they are not supposed to run dry. That could lead to overheating or destroying your expensive heater, so unplug them from the outlet. And if you're going to go below your intake for your filters, also disconnect your filters, otherwise they're gonna just suck up all this air, and sometimes they have a hard time purging it, so just make sure you disconnect the filters too. All right, that should do it in the 210. Get yourself a trusty bath towel for dirty turtle water. Now the water from my well, about 50 degrees, freezing cold. But as long as I'm doing a 50% water change, it's not gonna affect my turtles or the fish. They'll be just fine. I know it's freezing cold, but it'll mix with the warm water. My heaters will get it going pretty quick. Might slow them down a little bit. I've been doing this for years. The fish I have in there, the turtles I have in there, they're all hardy enough to take a little bit of water temperature change. You can always plumb to have hot and cold water, just like your sink, that you could have a little valve for. Another thing I wanna mention here is, what about all the crud that's gonna accumulate on the bottom of your tank? Now, I've had turtles, had them for a very long time, and what I've learned is, if you have a substrate like sand, very easy to move around, the turtles are always foraging, always looking around, moving things around, eating their crap, doing whatever. They naturally pick up anything that's gonna rest on the bottom. So you're not getting all that buildup like you might in a normal aquarium. So you don't really need to go in there and vacuum the sand up to make sure that you get all the crap that's hiding between the little rocks and those aquarium pebbles. But definitely make sure to vacuum if you need to. But I don't vacuum ever for my pet turtles just because they're always foraging, always moving things around, making those little clouds for themselves. And the filter loves it, sucks it right up. All right, while that tank is draining, I'm gonna start filling up the 210 here. Again, no buckets. All right, where am I getting that water from to fill the tanks back up? I'm super fortunate to have this plumbing system in my house. It's a modular manifold plumbing system. And what this affords me is water coming from my well is going through the filter, it's being softened, and then it's coming out through the manifold system. So the water I'm filling in the tanks is filtered and softened because the water that actually comes from my well is not safe to drink. And this passes my simple rule. If I can drink it, my turtles can live in it. Let me show you how easy this is. Find the end of the hose. Don't mind the driftwood. Bring your hose to your tank. Actually, I have a nice little place for it right in the back of my 3D background, which I have a video on how I made if you're interested. Get that down there. Turn it on. And there you go. That's nice filtered water coming straight from my well through, you know, a filter, a softener. So this water is ready for the turtles. Just a little bit chilly. Sorry, guys. Now, if you don't have one of these spigots in your basement and you have a shower that's readily accessible, maybe you live in an apartment or something, they have shower head attachments that you can use to hook your hose up to and then bring your hose from that shower head down to wherever your tank is. Check out my video when I did that when I lived in an apartment. Worked great. All done draining on a single bucket. All right, as you can see, that water change was easy as can be. 140 gallons changed out in about 30-ish minutes, and I was able to get my bike ready because it's a beautiful winter day out, like 60 degrees, winter, Maine. What's going on here? Thanks for watching. Got all sorts of DIY videos on turtle tank setups. Check out the links in the video description for anything I used in the video today. Subscribe, hit that like button, and see you next time. Long live your turtle.